What's going on, guys? Matt here from Become Elite. You already know what day it is, so you already know it's time for another 2-Minute Tuesday. Unfortunately, the other day in team training, I strained like my lower abdominal hip area, and it kind of got me thinking about maybe this would be a very good topic for 2-Minute Tuesday. About how pros treat injuries and how we go and diagnose it and just our normal rehabilitation program. Like I always say, I'm not a doctor, trainer, or physical therapist. I'm just a professional soccer player who's been dealing with this kind of injury stuff for decades. And I just want to share like a normal pattern that I've been finding with how professionals treat our injuries. So do not take any of this as medical advice. Anyway, let's put the time on the screen and let's get started. So you're at training and you feel something strain, or you roll your ankle, or some injury happens and you feel like this is not something you can push through and you need to take yourself out. So you walk out and immediately you go to your trainer. You get evaluated by him or a doctor, and you basically get it diagnosed by a professional. Because there is no way that you can develop a rehabilitation program if you do not know what your injury is or how severe that injury is. For example, a hip strain might feel very, very similar to a sports hernia. And although these injuries might feel similar, the rehab process is completely different. Once we get this injury diagnosed by a doctor or trainer, then the standard process for like a strain or a rolled ankle is pretty much just get out of training, rest, recover, and then do some electro-stim on it. We stay out of all physical activity. We're not in trainings. We're not doing any extra lifting or anything. We're just resting our body. After the inflammation stops and as you start to get better, the next step is to start strengthening that area back up again. If at any time it starts to get worse, you feel different pain, you stop it and reevaluate what you're doing. But the whole idea is to get that injured muscle that's now weak stronger so this doesn't happen again or doesn't recur again in the future. The specific strengthening exercises really vary depending on the injury. If you have a quad strain, you might be starting off with some very light leg extensions and then progressively making it heavier and heavier. During this whole strengthening process, we're making sure that we're stretching and foam rolling just to keep everything flexible, make sure there's no muscle imbalances, stuff like that. As the muscle starts to get back up to 100%, then we're slowly reintroduced into activity. We're gonna start off on the treadmill or bike and do like 5 minutes of very, very light walking or very light biking, go up to jogging, then we might go to some sprinting exercises. We might introduce some ball work, some cutting, and do more game realistic stuff. If that's progressing fine, then we finally are starting to be reintroduced into small, light team training movements like 5v2s, light passing drills. Once the trainer and the player both feel 100% comfortable with that injury, then they're finally reintroduced into the full team training again. So I hope this gave you some idea on how we treat injuries. How'd I do on time?